This is Crime, Mr. Wade, bringing you the stories. Stay tuned for a lot more.
And after they were dead, I remember the very first feeling I had was my heart was really pounding. I mean, it was really pounding.
Today's unfortunate story is about a Michael Bruce Ross. He was an American serial killer who was executed by the state of Connecticut in the year of 2005. He was the last person executed in Connecticut before the state ended up with the capital punishment in the year 2012. The Connecticut Supreme Court ruled capital punishment unconstitutional in the year 2015, converting the sentences of the state's remaining death row inmates to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Michael Ross. He was born in Putnam, Connecticut on July 26, year 1959. To a Patricia and to a Dan Ross. He was the oldest of 4 children, having 2 younger sisters and a younger brother. The family lived in a chicken farm in Brooklyn, Connecticut. Ross's home life was extremely dysfunctional. His mother, who abandoned the family at least once, had been institutionalized and beat all 4 of her children, saving the worst treatment for him. Some family and friends have suggested that he was also molested by his teenage uncle, who committed suicide when Ross was 6. At the age of 12, he molested 2 girls who he said he didn't rape, but played doctor with. In response to his sexual behavior and curiosity, he was punished by his dad with beatings. He was a bright boy who performed well in school. He graduated from Kingsley High School in Kingsley, Connecticut in the year of 1977 and graduated from Cornell University in Ithaca, New York, where he studied economics in May year of 1981. He became an insurance salesman. He exhibited antisocial behavior from a young age. Ross began stalking women in his sophomore year of college, and in his senior year, he committed his first rape, followed by his first murder soon after. Between the years of 1981 and the years of 1984, Ross murdered 8 girls and women aged between 14 and 25 in Connecticut and New York. He'd raped 7 out of his 8 murder victims. He was also alleged to have raped but not killed a 21-year-old woman named Vivian Dobson in the year of 1983 and a woman named Candace Ferris in Indiana. Plainfield police rejected the possibility that Ross had been Vivian Dobson's rapist. They did not press charges, and Ross made no confession. During his incarceration, he met his fiancée, Suzanne Powers of Oklahoma. Powers broke up with Ross in the year 2003, but still visited him until his death. He became a devout Catholic after his arrest in the year of 1984, meeting regularly with 2 priests through the years and playing the rosary each morning. During his time in prison, Ross translated documents into Braille, acted as a mentor to other inmates, and financially sponsored a child from the Dominican Republic. Although he opposed the death penalty, Ross strongly supported his own death sentence in the last years of his life, saying that he wanted to spare his victims' families any more pain. According to Kathy Yeager, a Cornell graduate, Ross believed that he had been forgiven by God and that he would be going to a better place once he was executed. He's not being punished, she stated. He's moving to a life eternal. That's what's erotic about the death penalty. He's looking forward to the peace. Also, Ms. Yeager also said that Ross had come to believe that there was no way his life sentences would be commuted without forcing the victims' families to suffer through more legal hearings, and that he knew his life would be meaningful even behind bars. He's had a horrible life, and he's wanted to do good in spite of this. An hour before the execution was to take place in the early days of January 26, year 2005, Ross's lawyer, acting on behalf of Ross's father, obtained a 2-day stay of the execution. Ross was then scheduled to die by lethal injection on January 29th, year 2005 at 2:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. However, early in the day, the execution was again postponed because of doubts that Ross was mentally competent. Having fought against his death sentence for 17 years, he suddenly waived his right to appeal. His attorney claimed that Ross was incompetent to waive appeals as he was suffering from the death row syndrome. In his final days, Ross became an oblate, an associate, and a benefactor in Grange, a Roman Catholic monastic community in West Reading, Connecticut. Ross was executed by lethal injection on May 13th, year 2005, at Osborne Correctional Center in Somers, Connecticut. He was 45 years old. Ross did not request a special last meal before facing his execution, thereby dining on the regular prison meal of the day, a turkey Ali king with rice and mixed vegetables with white bread, fruit, and a beverage. When asked if he would like to make a last statement, he said, without opening his eyes, no thank you. Ross was pronounced dead at 2:25 a.m. His remains were buried at the Benedictine Grand Cemetery in Reading, Connecticut. After the execution, Vivian Dobson, whom Ross was alleged to have raped, became a vocal opponent of the death penalty in an effort to save Ross's life. The execution of Ross was the first in Connecticut in the year 2005, the first execution in Connecticut since the year of 1960, the 22nd execution in the United States in the year 2005, and the 966th execution in the United States since the year of 1976. Ross was a suspect in rapes and murders in the state of Indiana. Candace Ferris, while vacationing in Indiana, was allegedly taken at gunpoint and raped, yet managed to escape and was later found by her friends in a nearby cornfield, distraught and without clothing. Her friends had been seen her driving off with a man that fit Michael Bruce's Ross description. I hope you enjoy this unfortunate story. I'm Mr. Wade and Mrs. Crime, and once again, we bring it to you.